I think we are ready to start. Thank you all for coming. Good evening. My name is Frank Kirchmer, and I was privileged to be able to broadcast St. Genevieve American Legion Post 150 baseball this summer, and what a summer it was. We are here tonight to honor excellence in baseball. All three programs, freshman, junior, and senior, competed right to the final strike. We're also here tonight to thank Legion Post 150 for their incredible support, and also to the many parents and supporters and family of all of these young men, because I think you guys may be the real heroes in all of this. The commander of St. Genevieve American Legion Post 150 is Ray Gettinger, and he would like to also welcome you. Ray?
Yes, I'd just like to thank all the parents. I know it's the many hours you put in on highways, driving back and forth to ball games. I'm sure you see that it really paid off for you. And I want to thank the kids for they did a great job. They came through and really put St. Genevieve Post 150 on the map. So thank all of you.
All right, before we eat, I told Pete Papin I had 18 jokes about baseball that I wanted to tell tonight. He told me if I told all 18, I would be standing here by myself about 9 o'clock tonight. So I'm not going to go off. I've settled on 3, which I think is a 167 average, which is, I believe, about what I hit when I played baseball. Yogi Berra. All you young guys, you know who Yogi Berra is, don't you? Come on, you do. The Aflac commercials? You know, the guy who stands there and says, they give you cash, which is just as good as money. That's Yogi. He's from St. Louis, from the Hill. Well, he played in more World Series games than anyone ever. And after one of the World Series games, the press came up to him and they said, "Hey, Yogi, they've got you down here in the box score as 1 out of 4, but we know that you were 2 out of 4. It must have been a typographical error." And Yogi said, "Heck no, it was a clean single to right." I think it's time now, there's only 2 more to go. I think it's time now to bring up Father Roji for the invocation. Father?
Pete wouldn't give me full pay, so you get the shortened version. I would just like to add my congratulations to you guys, to you, your coaches, your parents, for a job well done. And as a representative also of the American Legion, we're all very proud of you. And in our meetings, just to say that from time to time, progress reports were given. And so again, as I say, we really received the news and we were glad to hear it. So let us pray. Wonderful and gracious God, we thank you for all the abilities that you have given these young men, their coaches. We give you thanks for their success, and we ask you to continue to bless them as they now go back to school. Of course, they might not be ready for that, but Lord, be with them as they go whichever way. And then we ask you to be our special guest here this evening and bless our food and bless each other. So we pray, bless us, O Lord, and these thy gifts which we are about to receive from thy bounty through Christ our Lord. Amen. God bless you.
All right, every time I MC one of these banquets, I always get in trouble because somebody eats first and somebody eats last. So blame Pete for this. Pete says we're going to start in the back with the back tables on each side and come up to the front. So everybody in the front, blame Pete. It's Pete's fault. Enjoy your meal. Y'all can go ahead and have your seat again, and we'll get started with the rest of the program. I know Pete wants to say something a little bit later, but I'll say it right now. What a wonderful meal. Thank you very much, American Legion. How about a nice hand? We have some proclamations that are going to be made tonight, and before we get to that, excuse me, it's time for round two of my jokes. I told you I had three, so here goes round two. All you young guys who play baseball, you know how humbling baseball can be. 1 minute, you make a great catch, and the next inning, you throw the ball over the dugout. One time, you come up with a clutch base hit, out into left center, scored 2 runs, you feel awfully good. The next inning, you strike out with the bases loaded. Well, there was a rookie a number of years ago who was just an outstanding player in the minor leagues. Hit about 375. And they called him up to the show. Steve knows that. That's what they call it when you make it to the major leagues, the show. Well, he got the call one night, he came up the next day, and they figured out pretty quickly he couldn't hit a curveball. And a lot of people can relate to that. Well, he went for about 3-4 weeks, and he was just a little bit below the Mendoza line. So he was hitting about $150 for the first 3-4 weeks that he played in the major leagues. We had a game the next day, and there was runners on the corners at first and third, and he was up. And he looked out at the pitcher and he thought, this is my chance. This guy's supposed to be nothing but a fastball pitcher. The runner on first takes off for second. Throw goes down to second. The runner on third breaks for the plate. The shortstop cuts off the ball at second base while our rookie who's hitting $150 is standing at the plate, and he fires to home to get the runner breaking from third. Well, the rookie saw that ball come in, and boom, he hit a line drive center field, base hit. Of course, he was called out, got back in the dugout, and the manager said, "What are you doing? You can't hit a ball that's in play." He said, "Skip, that's the first fastball I've seen in a month." Representative Joe Follard has a proclamation from the governor's office and would like to present that right now. Representative?
I always hate to follow these kind of speakers, especially when I don't have a joke. But I was glad to hear that he was a better ball player than I was when I played my freshman year. But it's always a good day when we can recognize young people for positive events in their lives. Achievements such as were realized by this Junior Legion team are a credit to the hard work and commitment of each player as an individual, their coaches, their families, and community. Very little anyone could say or do would be anywhere close to that single moment of victory in that final game. that was the peak of your excitement and journey, and that only you, your family, your coaches will know the thrill of that moment. But let me also recognize the American Legion baseball program, that our local Legion posts for their commitment to the young people of our community. Without programs like this and many others like it, our youth would not have an opportunity to learn, experience, and develop. So I'd like to thank Legion Post 150 for their commitment to this program and our community, along with all the other organizations that support programs like this in any way. With that, I'd like to congratulate each player, each coach, and the Legion for making us proud not only as a community, but as our state champions, winning the regional national championship in Nebraska, and congratulations on that. And with that, I have a resolution from the Missouri House of Representatives for the American Legion, and I also have a replica for each player and coach for this team for their dedication to their community and their commitment to the program this year. And with that, I guess I'll give this to Ray, and however you just want to do the other 21. If you just want them all to come up, that's fine, but this is for the Legion, and I have, like I said, a replica. They're exact copies for each of the players and coaches, and congratulate you on a great achievement that we can all hold our heads high and be proud to be from St. Genevieve and the state of Missouri. Thank you. I didn't read the whole resolution. Sometimes, as Father reminded me, these whereases sometimes get a little long, but I hope each of the players enjoy it, and congratulations again to Steve and all the coaches and team. Thank you.
No more jokes this round, but I still have one more. The freshman Legion team had an outstanding season. They were 28-14. I talked to Coach McDaniel, and I believe he said they were 42-0 with 14 upsets. Is that right? Okay. But they came on strong at the end of the season, won the district championship, then put on quite a show at Washington and finished second. I think it was a real hot and muggy weekend, and so they had to play a lot of ball. And unfortunately, at the end, when you have to come from behind like that, you have to go through an awful lot of pitching. But they did a great job, finished second to Manchester in the state. Their manager is Mike McDaniel. Mike, come on up here.
All right, thank you, Mr. Kirshner. As I'm sure all the other coaches are going to do too, first of all, let's thank the American Legion. Because of what you do, it basically allows us to do what we do even better. You know, to Steve for allowing myself and Mark Gibson the opportunity to get back involved with the Legion program. Anybody that has not been affiliated with the program before knows that this is the best baseball that your son can be playing right now. To the other Legion coaching staff too, guys, you don't know what it does for both schools to help out, to have guys that are in positions that know a lot about the game, and that makes both of our teams much more competitive and better off than some of the other schools in the area. To my assistant, Mark Gibson, been my assistant for several years. He's kind of the yin to my yang, and it goes back and forth. I'm sure a lot of you guys know how that goes. To Mike Boyd, I know we're the low team on the totem pole. Any coverage that you gave us this year at all was much appreciated. You know, to the players, for being students of the game and always striving to get better. For the parents, you guys are the backbone to everything that we do. You know, many of us have been together for a long time, and Gibson and I know that if we didn't have your relentless support, these kids would be nowhere near what they are today. And to my parents and other people in my life, your support does not go unnoticed, and it does not go unappreciated at all. Now, for our season, being the low team on the depth chart, kind of like the minor league system, you don't necessarily always get a choice in the players that you want to have, but I wouldn't have had it any other way. Granted, we may have had a few players that weren't with us, but it didn't matter. We did the best with what we had, and we had a lot of good things. The team did a tremendous job this summer, finishing 28-14, taking second in the state, and that's not exactly all that bad, losing to a team who draws from a school that has an enrollment half the size of our entire town of St. Genevieve. I think that's a testament to what we have here in this town. The team would agree that we lost several games we shouldn't have, like I said, 14 upsets. Now, either way, things worked out. You know, toward the end of the season, we started playing a lot better baseball than at the beginning, and I think a little bit had to do with kind of gelling together too, getting guys used to each other. Had a few 14-year-olds that had to come up and experience some guys that had already been used to playing high school baseball. Now, I'll go ahead and introduce our guys, if you guys would, to come up here in front of this table, please. Dustin Rainey. Logan Giesler is also a member. I don't believe he's here today, though. Alec Grimminger. Brendan Weiler, Trevor Billings, Luke Uding, Lance Pippin, Wade Roth, Brett Shue, Andrew Bader, Alex Stoll, Michael Haynes, hey Dustin, Kyle Apt, Nolan Ritter, and then two other individuals that aren't with us today are Tyler Kent and Chris Bosler. Now, I didn't exactly know how to describe these guys that are in front of you right now. I didn't know if I should be nice, if I should be serious, direct, to the point. Tell you a few stories, like whenever I gave my keys to Laura Uding after a tournament, or during a tournament, because I didn't keep them in my pocket, and I went out to the parking lot, and my car was no longer in the same spot that it was when I got there. Or if I should tell you too, whenever I made a pitching change and Luke Uding was out at shortstop and decided to put him on the mound. And if you guys have ever pitched before, and you know that it's kind of hard to pitch with an athletic cup inside, decides to take it out on the mound, and who's left to carry it back in the dugout? And then Tina Bader gets a picture of it. And then I get told later on I should start bringing sanitation gloves out to the mound with me. And so my mom, the great person she is, decides to go to Walmart and get me some of those sanitation gloves. And I thought that was the end of it, but no, it happened about 2 or 3 other times, especially in the state game when Andrew decided to toss it up in the air and have me grab it. But that's what kind of guys these guys are. And like the parents, how Linda Haynes somehow ended up with a coat rack outside of her hotel room one night. Don't know, but I guess you guys would have to be there. But all in all, basically the guys standing in front of you are a great bunch of young men. I'm not sure if I'd let them date any of your daughters, but that's another story. To me, true character can be measured by how well a person deals with adversity. These guys are on the right path, judging by the way they handle themselves in success, and most certainly by the way they deal with defeat. Lose is not a word that's in their vocabulary. It's there on paper, and it seldom enters their mind, but only long enough to know that it gives them a sickly feeling in the pit of their stomach. That's what makes them winners, the ability to take that feeling and persevere, not for selfish reasons or recognition, but to lead a successful life. I mean, think about it. If we all got up in the morning desiring to be average, the world would be a pretty miserable place. There's a lot of talent standing before you, but it didn't get that way overnight. Their desire and determination to be the best is what has allowed them the opportunity to stand before you now. I like to say, basically to them, and they haven't heard it enough, that hard work beats talent when talent fails to work hard. That's one thing these players have that others don't, the ability to work their talent each day and get the most out of their bodies. Now, since school started, if we can make sure that would happen in the classroom, we'd all be set. In closing, though, I like to say that all these players are better people just for being around each other. This is not a Dragon thing. This is not a Warrior thing. This is a St. Genevieve thing. These young men represent the town of St. Genevieve well and are ambassadors to what it stands for: sweat, tears, hard work, and just being a great all-around individual. Again, I thank all of you for everything you have done and allowing Mark Gibson and I to have the chance to be a part of it all. I wish these players and all of those coming back to high school next year the best of luck in their high school seasons. You all should be very excited to see what the future holds for St. John baseball. There's an absolute lot of talent in this room. And I'm going to leave you with a quote from one of the baseball greats, Pete Rose, that I think sums up the mentality of the players that are sitting in this room. He said at one point, "I walked through hell in a gasoline suit just to play baseball." I think that says a lot for these guys in describing them. Thank you for your time, and the best of St. Genevieve baseball is yet to come.
Thank you, Mike. Congratulations to the freshmen. Boy, Pete Rose really wanted to play baseball, didn't he? A man and his dog walk into a bar. Last one. Looks at the bartender and he says, "Hey, I've got a dog here that can talk. I'll bet you $20 he can talk." Bartender says, "Dogs can't talk. That's an easy $20. Go ahead." Guy looks at his dog and he says, "What's on the top of this building?" Dog says, "Roof." And the bartender says, "The dog can't talk." Wait. He's got more. Looks at his dog and he says, "All right, tell the man who is the greatest baseball player of all time." And the dog says, "Ruth." With that, the bartender picks the man up and his dog, throws him out the door. They go tumbling into the street. They're laying there. They're rolling over. The dog looks over at the owner and he goes, "DiMaggio?" That's it. No more. That's good. My wife usually is the only one to say that to me. She gives me a standing ovation when I keep my mouth shut. The Senior Legion had quite a season. They were 24-15. Should I say the same thing? One more upset than Mike suffered this year. They had a heck of a district tournament. They lost their first game 8-2 to Rock, and I know Junie and the coaching staff were pretty disappointed that they didn't play better, but boy, did they play some ball after that and went right down to the final day. And we know they beat Festus, didn't they? Strike three, and should have been a final game. Now, if they'd have played one more game, Junie was good for what, 10 pitches? Yeah, Adam probably could have thrown an inning, and I guess Casey might have been able to pitch a half, maybe a third of an inning. So, but that would have left some open space, but at least they came darn close to being in that game. I did enough of their games this summer to know what kind of talent they had, but I also know that they played hard and really played as cohesively as a unit and did all the things that Steve's tried to teach over the last few years about how you play the game the right way. So, Junie, come on up and talk about your Senior Legion team.
Okay, first things first before we get started here, little business to take care of. I need Luke Uding, Andrew Bader, and Cole Beezer up here for a second. Right up here. Okay, the old saying that paybacks are hell, it's payback time. For those of you that don't know or weren't there, we're in Nebraska, we are at Olive Garden, wasn't it, boys?
Yeah, it was Olive Garden.
And I had to get up to go to the restroom, and I was told that these three instigators instigated a mid-year birthday party for me. My birthday's not till January, but they told the waitresses that it was my birthday. So she asked if they wanted a cake. Well, Cole said no because it was going to cost $5. So Oz, he wanted was for them to come out and sing to me and embarrass me, which they did. So that was the end of that. Of course, I got razzed about it all week long. But on Monday, it was Coach Beezer's real birthday. And after winning the championship, why everyone sang happy birthday to Steve over the loudspeaker. But I was told that these three had lips moving but nothing coming out of their mouth. So I think it would only be appropriate that they now sing happy birthday to their coach. Boys, take it away. 1, 3,
And
1,
hold on,
2.
hold on. In our defense, you only turned 21 once, Coach. Let's sing happy birthday.
Belated happy birthday to your father over there, Cole.
Hey, let's sing. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Junie. Happy birthday to you.
Okay, now we're even. Casey, did you want to get up and give this speech? No? Okay. First of all, like Mike, I want to say thank you, and I don't know how many times I can say this, to the Legion. Not only for the help they give the whole program financially, but for the support. I mean, I see Legion members all the time at our games. I know Pete, Donnie Bader made the long trip to Nebraska with us, and I just can't say thank you enough for the support that you give this program. And I think these boys are, we're seeing just the beginning of what can really happen with American Legion baseball in this town in the future here. So once again, to the Legion, thank you so much. We couldn't run our program without you, by no means at all. Next, as Mike said, to the parents, you all should be very, very proud of your sons. The way they conduct themselves, not only on the field, but off the field. I told Steve this after one of our games at the district tournament at Festus. I had a coach come up to me from House Springs and told me, he said, Coach, he said, I just want to say one thing. He said, your kids are the ultimate pros, the way they conduct themselves on the field, off the field. He said, we continue to talk to our kids at House Springs that if we want to model ourselves after a program from the freshman on up to the senior level, we want to model it after the way St. Jen does. I told Steve that. Steve said, that's fine as long as they don't win. So, but it's true. I mean, these kids, we don't have to worry about them. We know they're not going to cause problems when we're in hotels, things of this nature. In fact, we were so confident in Nebraska, we put my son Kellen in charge of them one night while we went out to eat. So first thing Steve asked, he said, he's not 21 yet, is he? So, but they do, they conduct themselves, and you parents have a lot to be proud of with the way you've raised these young men. Next, I want to say thank you to my wife, Brenda. She puts up with me being gone like from April till August. So, I don't have kids playing anymore, but I just love this game so much, and I don't know how many wives would put up with that, because if I'm not playing, I'm usually at one of the other games watching. So, thank you so much for that. And to Steve, baseball in this town how long's it been, Steve, since you've been back? 8 years, 9 years? 8 years ago. Baseball was dead in this town, folks, and we didn't have very good programs. We weren't real competitive. Steve moved back to town with his family and started these select teams, and we are just now starting to see the rewards, the hard work, the dedication, and the passion that this man has put in to putting baseball in St. Genevieve on the map. So to him, 100% credit goes to him. I can remember when he had his first camp. I don't know if you remember this or not, but it was on the stage at Valley High when he ran his first camp, and we had a screen set up in there and a batting cage, didn't we, Steve? That was about it. And on Sunday night, there was 3 people, my 2 boys, Kellen and Tyler, and Brad Sexar. And it's just grown and grown and grown, his camps every year. And again, just the dedication and the passion that this guy has for baseball, and being one of the biggest baseball fans in this town, I just want to say thank you. I can't say thank you enough for what you've done. And again, we're just now starting to see the rewards of it. And Diane, thank you too for letting him have and giving him that opportunity to do what he's done for baseball in St. Genevieve. So I think he deserves a round of applause. Okay, Senior Legion. We were 24-15 this year. Probably another 5 games that I thought we really should have won that we let slip away. We went through a stretch of 2-9 there, and I think 6 or 7 of those games during that stretch we lost by 1 run. About 3 of them we lost in the last inning. But you know, where this program was 3 years ago, first year I think we were 9-15. Last year we were above 500, I think 17-15, and this year, as far as I know, somebody may correct me on this, but the first 20-win season at the senior level in many years. It may be the first one ever, I don't know. So 24 wins. The kids were great. Probably the best group of kids we've had, I want to bring them up here in a minute. But right now, these 2 guys have been basically the last 3 years my right hand, and I want them to come up, and that is Coach Sherry, Adam Sherry, and Casey Grass. Casey's also the head groundskeeper, too, for those of you that don't know. Huh? Yeah, you got to hold my hand, yeah, like you have the last 3 years. The players, and I think we've got maybe about half of them here because I know some of them are off to college already. But Zach Bauer, this was Zach's last year. He's been with us the last 3 years. He's played second base, just done a great job. He's kind of the Pete Rose of the team. This kid never gives up and is constantly hustling. Kobe Shilley, who's not here, he's down at Springfield at college already, but Kobe, again, we'll lose him to age. And next is Kurt Vaith. Kurt was one of our top pitchers this year, also played some first base, played some outfield. Kurt, again, has been with us the last 3 years, just does an outstanding job. In the district tournament, this kid had more heart than anybody I've ever seen. I mean, he went out, like Frank said, we lost our very first game in the district tournament, so there was no more room for error. And Thursday night rolled around and he went out and gives us a complete game. Turn around on Saturday, pitched some more for us, and gave him the ball again on Sunday. It was unbelievable. If for those of you that were there during our district tournament, these kids from Thursday on, it was all heart. And, you know, we were just so proud of them. I told them after we got beat by Festus that if we'd have won that tournament, I could not have been any more prouder than what I was of them because of the way they fought and just battled through. And I mean, we were running on fumes come Sunday, and not a one of them ever gave up. Justin Burr, I don't think he's here this evening. I'm not sure where Burr's at, God only knows. Scott Jokerst, I think he's probably away to college already. Tyler Tomier, he may be too, I'm not sure. Yeah, he had to go back, he had to go to college. Casey Kohler is another one that is probably off to college. Those 7 will not return next year because they're going to be too old. And from myself, and I think I speak for Adam and Casey both, the last 3 years, fellas, thank you for everything you've given us, and you don't know how much we appreciate it to have fine young men like what you guys are. Caleb Whitworth, probably, I don't know if I call you the ace or ace 1 and 2 between him and Kurt. This kid's got a rubber arm. Anytime you ask him if he can throw, you know, the rest of them just look at me and say, Junie, you're talking about Caleb. He's got a rubber arm. You know he's going to tell you he's okay. So, but Caleb has done a great job for us the last couple of years on the mound. Also plays the outfield. And again, this is a kid that has so much passion for the game of baseball and just does a great job. And he'll be back with us next year. And I wish it was time to start already. Cody Schmelsley. Cody was our first baseman at 5'7". You can see why. Does a great job for us. This is his first year with the senior program, and probably found out early on in the season that senior pitching's a little bit different, huh, Cody? But he caught fire about 3/4 of the way through the season. Always played great defense for us and did a fine job. Jeremy Vaith. Jeremy played all kinds of positions, outfield, also pitched for us. Our pitching rotation next year should be pretty tough, Steve, with what we got left over and what we got coming up to the senior level. And on Sunday of the game against Festus, we handed the ball to Jeremy, and he gave us 7+ strong innings against a very, very good Festus team in really hot weather. And several times this year we gave him the ball to the mound, and another kid that just has a great passion for the game of baseball. Aaron Weiner, I don't think he was able to make it tonight either. I guess I've saved the best for last. Josh Meyer. What? I don't know what to say about him. Josh was hurt at the beginning of the year. We really missed him on the mound, sporting Coach Sherry's coaching helmet here. But he was able to come back, and in the district tournament went into the 9th inning with a no-hitter. It's okay, Josh. The game's over. We can talk about it now. Went into the 9th with a no-hitter, got the first guy out, and then what did he do? Walked the next guy, I think, Coach, was it? And then gave up a hit on his, third best pitch that he has? Through the changeup, okay. But Josh does a great job for us on the mound, and trust me when I tell you, he keeps the dugout real lively, too. One game I went to have him courtesy run, and I turned around, he was texting somebody on his cell phone. Naturally, I wasn't real happy about it. I think Coach Sherry told him that he does it again, why he gets one crack, wasn't it? One swing with the fungo and Josh's phone. If he hit it in a million pieces, too bad. If he missed it, Josh could have his phone back. So, needless to say, Josh didn't pull his phone out in the dugout during the game anymore. So, but anyway, these guys did a great job for us. I'm looking to have 5 of these guys back next year, along with everybody else that will be moving up. And like I said, I wish it was June of '09 already, so we could get started. But Brenda's saying, "Will you shut up?" But these guys did a great job. Great season, fellows. Thank you for all your hard work and support. Thanks a lot. Wait a minute. You guys can sit down, but Coach Sherry would like to say a couple of words, and at this point, I don't know what I'd have done without him the last 3 years. It's not easy finding good people to help that knows a lot about the game of baseball, and as most of you know, his dad was a great baseball coach at St. John for a number of years, and it's rubbed off on his son. Adam played some college baseball, so he brings a lot of knowledge to the game. And I don't know that this is 100% for sure yet, but he may be taking some time off. Him and his lovely wife, Maureen, are getting ready to have their first baby. When? November the 27th. So he may be taking, I'm trying to talk him out of it, but he may be taking a year or 2 off. We all know what it is having a new baby around the house, and I'm sure Maureen would like to see him during the summertime. So, but that's not 100% sure, but if it is, if he takes some time off, he's more than welcome, as far as I'm concerned, to come back anytime he chooses. So, Coach Sherry.
I won't be too long since I'm the only coach that will probably be speaking, so I'll be quick. And I'm not very organized. As Junie said, I did get to go to a really awesome baby shower today, so haven't had a lot of time. And it's a girl, so all you boys out there, stay away from her. I know how you guys work. Like I said, I just want to thank all the kids and parents. And what we did in the district tournament was, I mean, unbelievable for you guys that weren't there. And if I start talking about it, I'm going to get choked up again, so I'll just start making fun of the kids, which is what I was planning on doing real quick when I saw them. Zach Bauer, you guys saw, he was actually the ace of our staff. Junie didn't touch on that. He went 1.2 innings and did not give up a run. So second baseman, but more the ace of our staff. Caleb, luckily we're not playing Rock Memorial tonight, so we will not have to fight in the dugout. So that's good. So we won't have to deal with that. Caleb, if Caleb threw 9 tonight, he would want to start tomorrow. Mike, you know how that works. He's mad if he doesn't start. It's like, Caleb, there's other guys. I know Jeremy is really excited to have me in class this year so that we can play a lot of washers every day. That's going to be good. Kurt is hoping that he could get put back at shortstop because the last time he played was a good time for him. Jay Meyer, I don't know what to say about Jay Meyer other than he's lucky the bill on that helmet is pretty big to cover that nose, right, Josh? No, Josh actually, the same way. He was hurt all summer. Threw 129 pitches, which was not very smart on Junie and I's part on Friday. And Sunday, he was ready to throw again. He told me he was ready to throw, and he said, "I'm nasty." And when I talked to my dad Sunday night, he said Josh was kind of shot putting it up there. So he was lying a little bit, but that was the personality of the team late in the season. There wasn't one of them that wouldn't do what you asked, including Cody Smelsley, who at 6'6" is a very fine-looking shortstop and also caught an inning this year. And if you can imagine a 6'6", 155-pounder behind the plate, he looked good. He looked good behind the dish. So, like I said, I just want to thank all these kids. They've gone from 9 wins to 17 wins to 24 wins, And if you guys are smart, Steve, you'll schedule like 115 games because apparently you're going to lose 15. So if you win the rest of them, I mean, that's a lot of wins because we've lost 15 for 3 years in a row. So schedule a ton, you'll have a really good record. But again, thank you to the Legion, the parents. I know it's very trying getting your kids everywhere and getting the opportunity for them to play, let's face it, more than one sport throughout school. All these kids do it. So I know how trying it must be. Thanks to Junie for driving me everywhere, even though I didn't give him the gas money that Casey would always offer. But again, just make sure you recognize these kids for what they did, because had we won, we'd have gotten through the next game. It might not have gone all 9, because we're going to 10 run them, but we'd have gotten through it. Somehow, some way, they'd have battled through it. So make sure you recognize them for the success and the heart that they showed the last week of the season. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to end my part of it. A couple people I did forget. Mike Boyd for the coverage that he gives us with the St. John Herald, and a big thank you also to Frank over here for the time that he spends with high school baseball, with Legion baseball, doing the broadcast so that you know, when we're out of town, people can tune into their